Ever wonder how your favorite drummers can flow effortlessly around the drum set, seemingly with a million ideas in their head? Well, the secret isn't that they know a million fills. It's that they know how to build them from just a few simple pieces. Today, I'm gonna reveal that system to you and show you how you can create hundreds of advanced style drum fills using just 4 simple sticking patterns. And by the end of this video, you'll have a system that you can use forever that will make your fills sound more advanced, creative, and way more pro. So what's the key to endless creative drum fills? Well, it's this. I know you weren't expecting for Legos to be the answers to your drum fills, but please stick with me on this. Now I want you to try to think of the most incredible Lego build that you've ever seen in your life. Think about how that was all put together using just a few different types of Lego bricks used in a creative way. Drum fills are no different. Imagine that every drum fill you've ever loved was built from just 4 different types of Lego bricks. Well, that's exactly what this system that I'm about to explain to you is. So let's dive into it. This system is called the ABCD system. Now, each letter in this system represents a specific sticking pattern. Another way to phrase it is each letter represents one new building block. When you get familiar with these sticking patterns and you can comfortably combine them in different ways, that is when you start to get infinite fills. I mean, take Estepario, Matt Garska, or 2 from Sleep Token. These are some of the best drummers in the world, and the reality is they are taking phrases that they've nailed down 10,000 times and they're repeating them over and over and combining them in new ways to create some of the coolest drum fills in the world. You don't need more fills, you need to repurpose what you already know. And if you want to get the notation for every sticking pattern in this video, plus a head start of my favorite creative ways to use them, well, click the link in the description below and I'll send it to you totally for free. But now let's break down each letter in this system so that you can start getting insane drum fills. Now, letter A represents one of the least respected sticking patterns in all of history, but it is the most important. That's right, I am talking about right, left, otherwise known as a single stroke roll. And I'm sure some of you are rolling your eyes already thinking that you've graduated from single stroke rolls, probably moved on to Swiss triplets, 6-stroke rolls, maybe inverted paradiddles. And I get it, because most people learn single strokes and they learn how to play this one boring drum fill. But here's the truth. Pros never stop using brick A. They just find better ways to disguise it. So how can you tune up your single strokes and make them as exciting as the pros? That's where the single stroke kit mobility framework comes in. Step 1 is to learn how to move your dominant hand around the drum kit. That means you keep your weak hand on the snare drum the whole time and you let your right hand move freely. By the way, don't worry about writing any of these sticking patterns down because I've included all of the playable notation for every exercise in this video totally for free for you. Just click the link in the description below and I'll send it right over. Plus, everyone who signs up will get added to the waitlist to get first dibs on my brand new 6-week foot speed challenge. And once you feel comfortable with step number 1, you can move on to step 2, where the rule flips. You keep your dominant hand on the snare drum the whole time and you start moving your weak hand around the kit. Now, admittedly, there are less options here, but it still creates some cool fills. Here's a great place to start. Now, once you've mastered step 1 and 2, now you, of course, can move both hands freely around the kit. And a really easy starting place is to simply combine the fill that you learned from step 1 with the fill that you learned from step 2. But remember, the fills that I'm showing you here are just a starting place to teach you how to think differently about single strokes. The flow really starts to come into place where you stop worrying about executing the very specific pattern and you can just freely move it around the kit without really thinking about it. And to do that, it takes a lot of reps of the same pattern played at a slow tempo over and over and over again. Now, even if you've done that, remember you still have not graduated from the single stroke roll, because we can take it even a layer deeper. And that is not just experimenting with moving the pattern around, but playing it in different subdivisions as well. For example, when you move the subdivision to 16th note triplets, which is counted as 1 into 1 into 2 into 2 into 3 into 3 into 4 into 4 into, which has 24 notes in one measure, then the pattern starts to sound really different again, and you can play really cool stuff like this. So there are some very exciting ways that you can dress up the single stroke roll, but I get it, at the end of the day, it's still not the sexiest sticking pattern in the world, which is going to bring us to more exciting sticking patterns like letter B. Now this is where things start to get really exciting and we can start to combine fills together, which is great because after all those single strokes, there is one drum on the kit that's starting to feel as left out as a bassist in a music video. I'm talking about showing the kick drum a little bit of love. Letter B represents right, left, left, kick. Now, adding letter B here opens up two incredible possibilities. One is that you can now take the right, left, left kick pattern and apply it to the kit mobility framework. That will allow you to get really comfortable flowing around the kit with your dominant hand moving around, with your weak hand moving around, combining both together, and even playing it in different subdivisions. But because we already covered that, now let's talk about concept number 2 that opens up, and that is the ability to combine letter A with letter B in different orders. When you can start thinking of your fills of just inserting different letters, you can think so much quicker. This is basically the equivalent of guitar chords on the drum set. Guitar players can easily recall going from a G shape to a C shape to a D shape. They're not thinking of the individual frets and fingers that they have to use. They're just thinking of the letter and their brain can go to it. And that is exactly what we are doing here. So I'm gonna walk you through a few different ways that you can combine these sticking patterns in cool ways from easiest to hardest, starting with level 1, which is the pattern ABAB. Now the next combination down the difficulty list, we've got BBAB. So right, left kick 2 times, single stroke, then right, left kick again. But you can make way more combinations than that and find which ones really stand out to you. Now, if you're feeling lost, no worries. Like I said, you can get the playable notation to every exercise in this video where you can slow it down and speed it up and play along so you can really get these exercises in your bones. Plus, everyone who signs up will get early access to my brand new 6-week foot speed challenge at the cheapest price ever. Click the link below and I will send you all these exercises totally for free. But when we add this third letter in, things are gonna start getting really insane. So let's break down what the sticking pattern for letter C is. Now Now, unless you've been living under a rock, I'm sure you're incredibly familiar with the really, really popular phrase, 3 bricks are better than 2. It's a whole thing. Don't look it up though. You don't want to see what it says online about how popular it is. Just trust me, everyone says it. And that is because when we add a 3rd brick to our system, your fills dramatically change. So let's add brick C to the mix, which is a pattern called a herta. Now, if you're not familiar, it's actually hilarious because a herta is just a different way to play a single stroke roll. It is right, left, right, left. However, the first 2 right lefts are played as 32nd notes, and the last 2 right lefts are played as 16th notes. It sounds like this. Now, what I love about the herta is those 2 32nd notes add a really impressive burst of speed in the middle of your drum fills. Too many drummers get locked into playing just 16th notes in different ways, but when you can add in quick 32nd notes, it's a nice layer of spice just getting thrown into the big soup of awesome drum fills. I don't know if it's a good metaphor, but I like it. And I'm really hungry right now. Now, let me show you 3 difficulty levels of how we can add in letter C, otherwise known as the herta, to the other letters that we've learned in this video so far. Now, level 1 is the letters C, A, C, A. I guess that spells caca, but we don't have to think about that. Just a quick note is that there's a little bit of space after playing the first herta. You could either choose to fill it in or not. In this case, I'm gonna kind of fill in those notes because I just think it sounds better. All right, level 2 of combining these sticking patterns is the first time we're gonna combine all 3, and that is going to be B, A, C, A. Sounds like this. But we've only got 1 brick left to uncover, and as you've seen, every time we add a new letter to this system, the fills change dramatically, and this, of course, is no different. This is where you are going to have your full system of sticking patterns that you can use to play endless creative fills. So let's find out what letter D stands for. Now, letter D stands for dangerous. Those of you who had a childhood know that when you stack too many Legos on top of each other, everything can come crashing down. So my question for you is, can you handle stacking 4 different sticking patterns together? Yeah, I think you can. It'll be fine. So let's get into letter D, which is the paradiddle rudiment, which is the sticking pattern right, left, right, right. And then, of course, you can flip it to left, right, left, left, often played together. Again, I can hear the eyes rolling because this is one of the most basic rudiments, but right away, I'm gonna give you a little hack that helps me disguise this rudiment and actually sound really cool, and that's simply accenting the first 2 notes. So that first right, left are accented, and then the right, right is played as ghost notes. And then, of course, the same applies when you flip it. And that accented paradiddle sounds like this. Now, knowing 4 different sticking patterns on a deep level is so much more important than you might realize, because the reality is you can combine these different letters in over 450,000 different ways. But instead of going over every single possibility, I'm going to show you 2 levels of how you can incorporate all 4 of these stickings together, starting off with the most obvious, which is A, B, C, D. That sounds like this. Remember, learning these exercises is great, but implementing them and practicing them is way more important. And the best way to do that is to get every single one of these exercises that you can play along to by clicking the link below. And as a bonus, I will add you to the waitlist for my brand new 6-week foot speed challenge so you can get first dibs when it launches. All right, the next combination we're gonna explore is DDBA. Let's check it out. Now, the problem with learning all of these drum fills is people can get way too invested into learning how to play amazing chops while neglecting how to make their beats and their grooves actually feel good, which is what actually gets you hired for gigs. And that's why I built out a whole system for you. So if you want to make your drum beats feel so good that it feels illegal, then watch this video right here and I'll see you there. Peace.